In this video, we're going to be installing this Holley electric choke kit in my 72 Camaro. Just going to zoom in here for a second. So the kit is part number is 4522S or 45224S. It comes with all of these different parts here, which I'll get into in the video. We're installing this on a 72 Camaro. Like I said, it's got the Holley 4150, which is a 650 double pumper carb, and here we go. Okay, today we are installing the choke flap assembly and hopefully the choke kit for the 72 Camaro. I have a separate one on here on the bench. This is a carb that has the choke already in it. So we're gonna use this to kind of model what we have. The one that I'm starting with does not have this assembly at all. Everything on the side is totally removed from it. So we ordered the electric choke kit that I'm going to hopefully install today. So we're going to start with it now. Car is right over here. Only thing I've done so far has been to take off the air cleaner. You can see right now there are holes here, and there's no assembly in the top. So we're going to work on putting that in first, and then all the other stuff that goes along the side. Okay, so I just put this in. You put the plate in first, you just slide that through, and then the actual like choke flap just kind of clips right into it. There are two screws that go here, but you'll see it should just kind of freely open and close, which is how it's supposed to be. Okay, the next step in the kit, so we have the whole assembly on. This is screwed in, it opens and closes freely. The next step would be to remove the manual choke, which is already taken off here. There's three holes that are threaded, so it's one up here, one here, and then one down here. So I don't need to do that. But also the fast idle thing, there's like a little screw that goes here and a flap that goes on it. Those are both already gone. The other thing that they say, you can look really carefully, there are two holes that are counterbored, which right here, and then one down here. You're supposed to check to see if they are drilled all the way through the case. You can't tell just by looking at them. So what I did was, and the directions recommend that you take compressed air and you blow air into those holes, and if air just blows right back out at you, the holes are already plugged. If air goes into the case, then you have to fill those. They give you like a little lead ball that they say to put in there. Seems like ours are good, so we're gonna move on to the next step. Okay, in the next step, they give you directions on how to assemble the fast idle lever spring and setup. There's a few different ones. So again, they give you all the parts. They give you the little clip, and they give you the screw and the spring. Now I'm referencing it on an older carb, on one that's already apart, but what we're looking at is this little spring and lever right here. So as the choke moves, that will move as well. So like that will adjust, just change the idle. Notice that if I turn this, it's gonna move the throttle a little bit on here to set the fast idle. But so the whole assembly is the screw, little bracket, and then there's like assembly that moves with that. So it helps to have a second one here in front of me to do this. It is my first time looking through this whole operation. Okay, so fast idle lever has been installed. You can see there's an adjustment here with this screw. The assembly just kind of bolts back together, and it was kind of a pain in the butt to put on. But you should notice that when you move the regular throttle, the regular linkage, it's moving that lever, and this lever also moves backwards, and it's spring loaded. So that's all part of the game here. So the next step was to install this little linkage rod. So it raises, or opens and closes the choke flap. So I got that. Next steps are going to be putting the main choke housing on the body of the carb. Okay, so progress. We've got the whole setup attached. So that moves, this little lever inside moves the choke flap. And when the choke is on, let's say it's on here, and then you rev the engine, it's supposed to go back down and open the choke all together. Okay, so the cover's back on. A couple final things before we can test it. So this is a ground wire, so it's gonna go from here to the ground of the body of the carb. There's a vacuum line that has to go down here to the vacuum port on the bottom of the carb here. And then this is our 12-volt power source that's going to go to the electric choke. So we're gonna hook those things up and then we're gonna test it, and you have to kind of see if it needs adjusted. All right, everything is hooked up. So vacuum line goes to the front of the carb. The vacuum advance for the distributor is hooked up. You can see the ground wire for the choke. There's a label with a minus sign, just grounded to the body of the choke. I happen to have a 12 volt choke wire already there on this one, so I made it really easy. Again, just kind of tested, started everything up. Started up with no gas, which was perfect. And then just kind of idled itself up to about 1400, and then whenever I hit the gas, it takes the choke right back off. So I think everything's working how it should. Test it again and just make sure everything works okay. But yeah, this is a Holley 4150. This is a 650 double pumper. With the, again, I had to buy the choke kit at the top, so the flap and the shaft. The linkage rod and everything else kind of came with the kit.